Hey guys, Cheyenne here. I want to thank you all so much for joining me on this week's edition of the following conversation is scheduled for one fall. Special BCW theme of the program. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in on YouTube, which if that's what you're doing, give us a like, a comment, or a subscribe. And in case you're listening or you're unaware, you can listen as the following conversation is now available on the audio platform of your choice wherever you listen to your podcasts. This week it's a special Bree Combination Wrestling edition of the following conversation. I'll be having AJ Pan, Theo Ivkry, and comments from Mark Schwann. Let's take you to the program. Imagine wanting to be a professional wrestler. Imagine trying to find some local way to train and try to fulfill your dream and your goals and such, right? Then you start becoming established in such place, and then that place merges with one of the most well-known promotions in the tri-state area, right? Now imagine trying to prove yourself within proving yourself within your home federation while performing on these auxiliary shows on a much larger scale. So much so that you eventually make it to the larger scale. I'm talking right now about the journey with my guest. The following conversation is scheduled for one fall. It's myself and Theo Ivkry. Theo, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
We're here covering all things BCW and what may potentially become BCW Day here on the following conversation is scheduled for one fall. Of course, I want to thank you so much for your time, for joining us. Let's get right into it. What emotions do you have going into tomorrow right off the jump?
A lot of anxiety.
Okay.
A lot of anxiety. Just nervous, excited. It's a new year. It's a new chance to prove myself. It's like all the right feelings. You know how they say like, oh, if you're nervous, that means you care.
Sure.
Um, so yeah, it's just like the nerves you have before any show. Um, Worry. I'm like, oh my god, am I gonna look fat? Is my no, seriously, like then I'm like, okay, oh my god, my cardio. It's just the normal things you go through every match. It's just like, am I gonna be ready? But you are, but you just still always have that in your mind. I don't know why, but yeah.
And it's a high pressure situation, right? Because in your head, you're kind of like, this is where I'm at. First show of the year. It's my first show of 2024.
Yeah.
It's BCW's return show, and it's pretty stacked. We've got Queen of the North qualifiers. We've got exhibition matches. We've got a grudge match main event.
Yeah.
It's loaded across the way, right? So here you are now. Instead of performing on behalf of One Division Pro, you're performing for BCW on the
Yeah.
BCW show. You're taking on Just Saying.
Yeah.
How well do you know your opponent? Do you feel as if you're almost equals? And in that sense, do you feel confident enough where you can get a victory, or are you saying outright it's anybody's game?
To be fair, in wrestling, any match is anybody's game.
Oh, I like
Uh,
that answer better than the. Of course, I'm gonna win. I like that.
all it takes is 3 seconds, and if you're not a wrestler, you don't understand how fast 3 seconds is. And you don't understand how hard it is to kick out before 3 seconds.
Yeah,
Like it is so hard. So that's why, like in wrestling, any match is anyone's game. But I debuted for BCW last year. I have yet to win my first match. So it's like, you know what? It's a new year, man. Like 2023 was like a shitty year for everyone. So it's like, let's leave that in the past. 2024, we're going to start off as a winner, and that's going to set the tone for the whole year. So that's
I
the
like
goal.
that. I like
That's
that.
the goal.
Now you're talking about 2023 was a bad year. Let's say what it is for a lot of performers. It was, especially in BCW, because there was a lot of proving ground. But I think the upside is that even in some losses, the proof is still paying off because now look at it. You're a great representative for One Division Pro, but now you're on BCW, first show of the year. It's a lot of
Yeah.
pressure. I can understand why you're getting pretty nervous going into it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that saying. It says if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
I'm on a show, I'm in a locker room with someone the caliber of Darius Carter, someone the caliber of Jay Bougie. Like these are people who are really at the top of their game, and you've seen how hard they've been working, the work that they've been putting in. So it's like these aren't people who were handed those spots. These are people who worked for it, continue to work for it, and every show they continue to prove why they belong in those spots. So I'm like, now I need to prove why I belong in BCW. I need to prove why I was given that opportunity, why I was given that chance.
Now, win, lose, or draw, if you come out the victor, um, this coming Saturday at Welcome to the New Year, what's next for you? Do you already have in mind, like, if I can get past this, I'm looking for this next?
Oh yeah, BCW World Champion, baby, straight to the top,
Wow,
straight to the top.
straight to the top. Doesn't matter
Why
who
not?
it is.
Doesn't matter who it is. I love Darius
Wow.
Carter. We share a lot of the same sentiments, but he knows, like I know, that we both love this business. We both respect and have the utmost reverence for the BCW World Championship. So for me, that's a goal. Am I ready right now? No, I'm not. I have a lot more training to go. I have a lot more work to do, a lot more reps to put in before I'm ready for that. I'm ready to carry that torch. But that's the goal. That's the I don't want to say that's the finish line for me, but that's the first goal. The first goal is my first victory. Second
Okay.
goal, BCW World Championship. Third goal, and then we'll keep going from there.
Now, with that being said, because you just off whip, just straight, no hesitation whatsoever. You came in and said, okay, Darius Carter, world champion, whatever, and between that opportunity and now, who knows who the champion for BCW will be.
Yeah.
Who are the three names you're looking to get in the ring with for BCW going forward, win, lose, or draw? Like, I gotta test myself, even if I get my ass kicked.
Obviously Darius Carter.
Okay.
Um Christina Marie, I've really been wanting to get in the ring with her.
Okay.
Um really been wanting to get in the ring with Christina Marie. Probably kick my ass, but it'll definitely be a good match. And we have a lot of respect for each other, so I know like that'll definitely be a really really good match. Um, and I would say for number three, which is so hard. Um, I'm gonna say Mike Law,
Wow.
Colossal Mike
Okay.
Law.
Okay.
I've known him a long time. A lot of respect for him. Respect what he's done in the business. Not really feeling the little bitter vet thing he's got going on right now.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe his little Napoleon complex is getting to him. I don't know, but he's a vet's vet, and I definitely think I could learn a lot from him in the ring. And I definitely think we would definitely tear the house down. So those are my three.
A division that I feel like is fairly wide for the taking of BCW is the tag team division. Is that something you would consider finding a partner down the road, or maybe there's somebody that you feel you gel with right now, and you're like, hey, that's not a bad idea?
Absolutely. But am I going to tell you who that is? No. You'll just have to wait and see.
Oh, you're doing so well. You were doing so well.
You
Oh,
may even find out tomorrow. Who knows?
okay. I will be.
Who knows?
I may follow up with you on this. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, now let's talk One Division Pro real quick. You weren't a part of Cookie Mania, but they're just coming back from a full blown tour of Puerto Rico. What can you
Yes.
tell us about that?
Oh, it was amazing. So what they did was they took the One Division Pro champion. The One Division Pro champion is Hyena Hex, and the One Division Pro Imperial champion CMC. So they went over there. I know Hex. He faced Big Cuzzo. There were other, and it was just a really great way to represent One Division Pro. And then the thing I love about this business is you have, like you mentioned before, the auxiliary promotions. So, One Division Pro was able to partner with other promotions in Puerto Rico and show the fans in Puerto Rico, like, hey, this is how, we do it in the States. And then One Division Pro, we're based out of New York. And obviously, New York has a huge Latino population.
Absolutely.
So I think it's even better if, they come to visit their family in New York. They're like, oh, hey, we can go see a One Division Pro show because we saw them when they came to Puerto Rico. The crowds looked great. The weather looked great. It's cold as hell here. Um, And everyone that I spoke to said it was a great show, it was a great turnout, and most importantly, it was a great experience.
That's awesome. And there's nothing, it's kind of an honor, right? Not just when you get to wrestle in any other country or any other state, but specifically a country that's so rich in pro wrestling history, right? And have such rabid fans. So hopefully
Yeah,
I wish that
passionate fans.
I
Yeah.
wish that I wish that for you very, very soon. Before we wrap things up here, I wanna I wanna address something. I've noticed that you've been very, very friendly with the likes of one AJ Pan, the governor, if you will, of BCW. I would hope that you wouldn't take your career in such a direction to align yourself with the human flea bag that is AJ Pan.
Is that your question?
Yes.
Next question.
Wow. Okay, that's a little rude. All right then. Well, Theo, thank you for your time. Uh, I want to thank you so much for joining us here on the following conversation. Is scheduled for one call, one fall. I gotta say, I'm rooting for you tomorrow. I don't often say that. I try to be a very unbiased and impartial journalist, but I'm rooting for you because I want to see what you can do after the fact.
You know what? I appreciate that. And I definitely think you're going to see something new tomorrow. You're going to see another side of me. I've been trying to do the right thing. Do the right thing. Where has that gotten me?
Well, we're gonna find out where it gets you tomorrow, win, lose, or draw. But I'm very excited to see what you have in the tank tomorrow. We're talking BCW. We are talking. Welcome to 2024, the new year. Theo Ivkry. This is the voice. Cheyenne Ortiz. The following conversation was scheduled for one fall. This program was, of course, recorded on the eve of Bree Combination Wrestling Welcome to the New Year, their inaugural event for the calendar year of 2024. Dealing with harsh weather conditions such as a snowstorm here in the Northeast, on top of different calamities that can happen on the independent professional wrestling scene. However, Bree Combination Wrestling was still able to deliver a stellar card, and we want to take this time to give you the results right now from that January event. Anthony Gangone and Darius Carter teamed up to defeat Face and Jay Bougie in a tag team match for the ages, a true battle of generations in tag team warfare. We did Queen of the North qualifying, where Tiffany Avatar defeated Journey Burke with AJ Pan at ringside. But the highlight of that contest is when Journey Burke accidentally kicked AJ Pan in the face, and he fell, and his hair dye went all over the place, and the ponytail came loose, and it was great, just right in the face. And then, of course, Tiffany Avatar got the victory and advanced in Queen of the North, which is much, much more important. The BCW women's title was on the line as Vicious Vicky took on the stellar Ultraviolet. However, the Vicious one was victorious. There was some dissension between her and Mark Schwann. We'll get to that in a minute. Mike Law defeated Daniel Alexander and then laid out a challenge to AJ Pan to find him more suitable competition or else he'd be going. AJ Pan then said, you know what, Mike Law, if you want real competition, you could take on the champion. Later on in the night, Mike Law took on Darius Carter. More on that in a minute. Theo Ivkry, our guest, just previously took on Just Saying in singles competition and came out victorious and really utilized Welcome to the New Year as a true platform to set his footing in BCW. More Queen of the North. Emily J, with AJ Pan at ringside, defeated All Natural Ashley, and Harleen Lopez defeated Rebecca J. Scott in what my opinion might have been match of the night. And of course, in your main event, Darius Carter in a true classic against Colossal Mike Law, one-on-one for the BCW heavyweight title. Mike Law won a competition. He got exactly that. The competition may have been within, as he had to test himself in order to test the All-Father, Darius Carter. As I alluded to, Vicious Vicky did go on to defeat Ultraviolet, but there was some tension between Hollywood Mark Schwann and the Vicious one. We're about to get comments from Mark Schwann himself.
Do you know what my job description is? I'm in acquisitions. I scout and I acquire talent. That's what I do. And when I say Vicious Vicky is the best wrestler I've had the privilege of managing, that should mean something because any wrestler I've ever managed has gone on to become champion. That's my pedigree. That's where I stand. And Vicious Vicky, as we all know, is a decorated champion herself. So this should work. But it's not. Yes, Vicious Vicky is rolling right through BCW, but there's a disconnect here. Vicious Vicky, you misted me in the eyes. I know it was an accident, but you blame me. You get mad at me. I was called out. I wasn't interfering in your behalf. I listen. I know that's not what you want me to do. I know you don't want me to get involved. I'm here to strategize. I'm here to support, and that's it. I know my place. We need to figure this out. We need to be on the same page. My job is to make you happy. And right now, it doesn't seem that you're happy because, hey, you're not answering my call. So here I am on Cheyenne's new podcast, reaching out, pleading. Queen of the North is right around the corner. You're defending your championship on that card. We don't know the opponent yet, but we know it's going to be a big deal. My job, as long as I'm your manager, is to ensure that you remain the BCW Women's Champion. And my God, I am going to come there and make sure that you retain that the hand raising high after that show is yours. And that you're hashtag and still the BCW Women's Champion because I believe in you no matter what happens here. We go back, Vicky. We go way back. I've known you since you were a manager, and to see what you've become has been astonishing. I support you. I believe in you. But you need to believe in me as well.
Credibility in the professional wrestling industry is often questioned, especially in the independents. What is credibility? Tenure, matches wrestled, names worked with. It's subjective, right? Just like talent in a way. But credibility will also not be credible if you don't ask. And in this question, I'd like to ask. I'm talking about someone who's been in the business legitimately over 20 years. There's not one thing this man has not done, from refereeing to setting up to being on shows to writing shows to producing to performing on shows. He is a jack of all trades, and it's quite possible that he's mastered at least some. This is someone who I felt like was completely underrated pre-pandemic as a talent, let alone as a wrestling mind. And now I've been privileged enough, while be it from afar, because he likes Mark Schwann more, to see the ascension of that mental prowess grow. I'm talking about on camera, my greatest foil, off camera, one of my closest friends. The following conversation is scheduled for one fall. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Pan. AJ, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here. I'm loving this new venture for you, and let's see what we can get into, what trouble we can make today.
Let's see what we can get into.
Yes.
I'm a handful of episodes in, and you and I have talked about this at the bars a lot, and we swap stories and stuff. And one of the things that's missing, I feel like, when somebody joins a Fed or wrestling is like they're looking for a booking, but they don't know the company's history. They don't know their opponent's history, because there's a real big mixed bag right now in the tri-state area of guys who've been at it 30 years, 20, 25, 10 rookies.
Yeah.
It's a very mixed tenure bag. That doesn't mean they're wrestling every weekend, but there's different people that have been around and are going around. When it comes to you, everything everyone has done, you have done already. I mean, you're even a 2-time tag team champion, which is disgusting. Having said that, you know, where does this odyssey even start for you?
Started as like everybody else, a kid with a dream and who loved professional wrestling, and did everything they could to try to get into it, from going to independent shows, going to WWE events and WWF, and making contacts. Lucky enough to find the right people to get involved, and started about 15 or 16 going to independent shows, writing articles for different newsletters, then websites. Helped doing merch at independent tables like old Dennis Corluzzo's NWA. When ECW would run in Queens, I'd help out doing merchandise there. So
Yeah.
wherever I could find a way in and to make connections, that's what I did.
You're one of the last active performers to have performed at the original Elks Lodge plus its current building, right?
I didn't perform at the original, but I worked there, so
You were there enough because you're helping ECW and stuff.
exactly, yes.
For those of you unaware, the Elks Lodge that you are currently performing in is not the one that you can find on the WWE network. So when
No, not
people
at
are
all.
like, "Oh yeah, they renovated this building. They used to have railings." It's not even the same building.
No, not at all.
You know, man, I've been thankful enough, even though I never get featured in your best photos of 2023 because I'm not attractive. I've been thankful enough to see, your growth from it's funny stuff. You could laugh from 2020 to now.
I think you were in one or two. You
No,
were, actually. Yeah, you were.
I'm not Samira or Mark Schwann or Michael Putty, whose head gets
Yes,
cut off in half the
me, you,
photos.
Shady, and
I'm not
Steve
in
made
any of them.
one.
No, I'm not in any of them. I'm not
You
in any of
are.
them.
You
No.
are, you liar.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. I'm going to pull up the Instagrams and you'll see your tag.
You're gonna put up a photo from 2021 when we spent the whole summer together, like Mamma Mia. You're not gonna have any photos. It's all right. It's all right. I'm second or third fiddle now.
I'm recycling. What's on? You got it.
Yeah. So getting to see you, like, you've always been a part of inner workings, be it from afar or with a say, because you're so respected, your tenure. When did you feel like, man, I could contribute? When did you feel smart enough? Like, I might not be able to do a fed or a show, but I can do something.
I want to say early, 2011, it's about 2011, working for a company, FWE, it's now defunct, Family Wrestling Entertainment.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so just started out there as a ring announcer, and it grew from there, as like when anything, talking to the promoters and letting them know, giving them ideas, and, they started to see like, oh, wow, you have some good ideas. Let's try 1 and 2. And then it just grew where I knew a lot of the other talent from working shows with them, and they trusted me like now. And again, going back to doing shows from earlier on, I knew a lot of then workers who were coming on to our shows because this gentleman would bring in like larger names. So it would be time, they trusted me, and then sometimes these kids are running up to them giving them ideas, which makes no sense. Luckily, me and Mike Law at the time, he was helping out backstage, and we would have conversations on the side and be like, oh, if they asked us, this is what we would do. And it would just so happen we would end up pitching, or I would end up pitching those ideas to the talent. They were like, well, that makes a lot more sense than what's on the on the sheet, and
Sure.
we don't really want to be the ones to say that. Can you kind of change it for us? So got there when, bigger TV names were more impressed with my ideas than the person running the company. So I'm like, maybe I actually do have a bit of a mind for this. Like, all right.
And that's the other thing too. At that time, especially, the names that had just come off of TV were working the independents much more regularly because the competition was lack thereof. It was stagnant. Either you worked the indies every weekend and made your money, or tried to make money, or you went to Impact hoping to get signed and then get double dipped.
Yeah.
So the reason that's so appealing to former WWE talents at the time is because without an idea, they feel useless at that time.
Yes.
It's not like now where they can't wait to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
If they're going to be on a certain fed every weekend for some reason, they're like, yeah, well, just an idea works,
Yeah.
And the indies were also, in general, up until about 2016, the indies across the country, Northeast especially, from Florida up to here, were storyline driven.
Oh, yeah.
They were everyone. I don't care who it was. Everyone was doing angles or trying to do them. It came down to availability. Because I can remember, like, even Carlito and Steve Carino and all these different guys were in storylines wherever they were at.
Yeah.
Whether it was for 2 weeks, a month, 6 weeks, whatever. You've been a part of BCW in many different roles for a long time.
Yes. Almost since the inception.
How does it feel now starting the 2024 show, just coming off the heels of the anniversary show in Essence? Of course, we're going to get into that in Malapan tribute show. Are you having that retrospective look like, wow, look, started from the bottom, now I'm here type of thing?
It's weird. It's almost like we actually, I feel right now we're really like starting to peak out from the ditch. Because we were really on a stride in 2020. We had one show that year, The Queen of the North 2, and that show was like one of our most successful ones, from storyline to in-ring work and to crowd-wise. And we were all excited for that year, like, this is going to be it. And then the pandemic hit and everything went to hell. So we took 2021 off when a lot of people started coming back, and we basically started from scratch in 2022. It took time to reevaluate the locker room, to adjust from prior booking regimes and storylines that were already in place, because people weren't available. We just didn't like the direction they were going. Again, 2 years passed by, so who would remember? Will it move the needle at this point? So I feel where we are now, where we've been steadily progressing from 2022 to now, I think we're in a really good place. I'm really happy with the locker room we have now. For the most part, it's very copacetic. We're all in unison. Everybody wants to see the product succeed. I see a lot more from the talent too, like without us even having to tell them, hashtagging BCW with whatever they're promoting. Other fans tagging them as BCW talent. So before, I think people mainly knew us for maybe 2 or 3 talents. Where now they associate maybe 10 with BCW. Besides that, too, I think our storylines have been really firing on a lot of cylinders. A lot of more trust has been placed in me to try and create stuff, and I've been conversing more with talent. It's a give and take. You have to listen to some of them, but at the same time, trust your instincts. And again, I've been doing this for a while, so thankfully, the last 2 or 3 times I've pitched a certain angle, it's succeeded. So not only it makes me feel good, but it's a great feeling to see them get over the talents.
Sure.
And for the company to grow. The bottom line is I want the company to grow. That's what I'm here for. I'm not, just here to collect the payday. I want to see. I believe in BCW. I've been here 7.5 years. So.
And you kind of saw, regardless of who was in charge of what. I mean, Anthony Cole at the end of the day has the final say. He's the man. He's you got to pay the cost to be the boss.
Yes.
You've seen the peaks for each era, right? Because you've seen the highest of highs under someone else's supervision with Cole, and then you've seen kind of so you're kind of going in like what to do, what not to do, what works, what doesn't work, because BCW was already trying to be a New York Fed, but is also crossing the river just like everybody else.
Yes.
You, as a New Yorker, a devoted New Yorker, was it hard for you to say, okay, the Mecca instead of Elks? Like where was your decision in that? Did Cole's like, no, Queens? Did it come to financials? How did you guys say, no, we got to do Richfield Park?
It really came to financials after the pandemic. For those in the know, New York is such a pain to deal. I love New York, but the bureaucratic BS you got to deal with.
And that's any form of sports and entertainment, by the way.
Yes, yeah. Like even, I mean, they're a multi-million company, multi-million-dollar company, but WWE has to deal with them. Luckily they have the money that they could just. I'm not saying they do, but they could be here. Here's the money. This is what we're doing. Whatever we're doing. We don't have that atmosphere. And in the past, we had shows almost shut down for the stupidest of things because they did not understand wrestling. When Billy Caputo, God rest his soul, he was the only one who understood wrestling. And he's like, as long as you don't hurt any of the fans or you kill yourselves, do whatever you want. Have a great time.
Yeah, well, Billy was a different cat because Billy was a wrestler.
Exactly. So he understood it. Yeah, where all these other schmucks, they do not grasp the concept of sports entertainment. I know it's a dirty word still, but that's what we are.
Yeah, and Billy Caputo, the former New York State athletic commissioner.
A truly great guy, and he got it. And luckily, from FWA, I became friendly with him, and he was a very good guy. When people would see me coming, like, "Oh no, Billy's here," I'm like, well, I could get. I'm like, "What are you saying? Is this the night off of Billy's here?" Like Billy's like, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, "Yeah, it's like, don't worry about it. Just don't kill yourselves. Have a good time. Don't go near the fans, and that's it."
Yep.
Because he understood. It's a show. It's entertainment. Everybody knows what they're doing. They're supposed, for the most part, everybody knows what they're doing, but that's what it is. So there's going to be sometimes a slip or two. It happens, but, we're not seeking out to hit a fan with a chair or having somebody land on them.
It's like I said one time, it was 20. You were there. I didn't say it to you, but it was for Five Borough, and the new guy had just taken over.
Orlando?
I don't remember his name, but if I describe, you're going to be like, that's him. So he just took over, and I was like, doesn't he know that all the accidents are planned to happen in wrestling?
No.
Yeah. So I feel as if I've always been a fan of BCW. I've always watched. I used to go to the Elks Lodge shows when they were usually Fridays, and I'd go and take the trip. It's not far from the house or whatever. As a show, booking matches subjective. As a show, this is the best BCW has ever been. from start to bottom. It's an entertaining ticket. And that's what I like about indie wrestling, because if you're not going to provide these solid matches, which are going to drain you out by the 5th or 6th match, and you got to get through 8 or 9, then the least you could do is, well, give me a whole show. Give me a show. And I think from the cold open, if you will, to even have to deal with you and the bad breath for 10 minutes and the speeches and the hair dye and the Giuliani thing where it's leaking on the side.
Shut up. I have great products.
And all that stuff. That's genius. The constant meddling of the Pan family and its members is always great. Carter coming out, anything he does is entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
When did you realize, like, hey, because that wasn't happening at the old BCW?
No.
Say what you will, it was kind of super indie based. It was matches. If you cut a promo, you were in trouble. Which, if you do it without asking, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
When did you decide or pitch? Who is that? You? Is that Cole? Like, hey, can we make this a show, a night, an event?
That was more me pitching it to Cole, because I mean, I know that's what I like to see, and I mean, people do like what they like. I mean, like, there is an audience for straight, solid to great wrestling. That's where Ring of Honor was, and that's what they specialize in. You have the GCWs of the world that death matches are their audience. Not my cup of tea, but they're successful in their niche. That's fine.
Sure.
If you want to try and at least get somewhere, you see the formulas. WWE, even AEW, they might not do it as well, but you see the formulas are to try and market to a mass audience. So you're always gonna have your diehards. We want to bring in new people. So the family that's coming in, or maybe there's 2 guys who walked off the street and say, "Oh, there's a wrestling show tonight. Check it out." You don't want to just, what's going to stick with you? Seeing 5 matches back to back that are really solid, but nothing really clicks, or you want to see someone like a Darius Carter, who is well-spoken, who comes out and mocks the crowd, he has an aura, he has a presence. Someone like him, someone like a Christine Marina, who's finally coming to her own, and she just has a presence about her. We have so many people, like Jay Bougie now, he's been on the rise, and he's like, we saw him when he first debuted about 2 years ago, and coming out with bottles and stuff, and it's all about, when you watch wrestling, it's about and it always, people want to say it's about good and bad. I say it's about those larger than life superhero characters.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? You might hate Darius Carter. I'm sorry.
And the moments they create.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what you go. Most of the time, you walk away with those moments. Kurt Angle always said his been. I always believe this, and one of my favorite quotes of his. He's had so many great matches, but what are people going to remember? The moments. They remember the little cowboy hat. They remember the milk truck. Those stand out. If you mention people, what's your favorite thing about Kurt Angle? Are you gonna maybe you'll remember his match against Shawn Michaels, but you say, when him and Steve Austin had the little tiny cowboy hat, that's what you remember, and that's what I wanted to create in BCW. I want people to walk away and want to come back for the next show. I got to come back and see this guy Darius Carter. I want to see what Jay Bougie's doing next time. I want to see what Emily J's now, how she develops and what she's gonna do.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing, BCW's always been gender welcoming, pronoun embracing. We're seeing a lot of female talent on the rise, and we're seeing a lot of intergender matches. What is it about when you and Cole book BCW that make you realize everybody's fair game for everybody? So if I want to do Christina Marie versus Darius Carter, that's the same as Emily J versus All Natural Ashley.
It's where we are now in the world, and and again, we're sports entertainment, so you can get away with a little bit of things, but at the same time, like, these girls are the same as talented, trained athletes. So, as long as things make sense and everybody's on the same page, there's no reason. Like, it's the way I looked at BCW coming back. I want it to be about the best athletes. There's no way. I still see, and again, they're prerogative, but there's still so many show posters I see. And it's dominated 95% with just males and, maybe one female on the show or 2 females. And it's just ridiculous when they work their asses off just as much as the guys, sometimes more. Sometimes they're easier to deal with than the guys backstage. Yeah. their social media presence is fantastic. So it's just stupid business to not progress in that way. It's just mind boggling.
Yeah, those are all very, very fair points. Do you feel as if the bar at BCW is getting higher? Because I feel like it is. There's something about from last year's anniversary show to even now, because after this event, that's going to be spoiler. That's the March event because it's already January.
Queen of the North actually is going to be the next one.
Is that the next one?
That is the next one, yes, because
So
that's normally in January. But we had to get Welcome to the New Year in because there was so much.
So then I will take the headline, sir. Openly,
yeah.
I'm a nobody, so I will take.
So you're getting the scoop, yeah. Queen of the North is our next event after this.
So then, even so, because we couldn't have one last year, right? Do you feel as if the bar is, forget about being raised, but at least heading in the right direction?
Oh, without question. I definitely see from where we were this time last year to this, like even on paper, when we were starting to work on the card, just on paper first was like, all right, we need to start doing, what can we do to make this stand out a little bit more? But we have such great talent, like even they're doing more than the talent were, some of them last year, or just now they feel more confident. They're stepping it up because they feel that they know, they feel that BCW is one of the places they want to call home.
Right.
Not to toot our own horn, but we were named, one of the top 39. We were number 39 on the most watched wrestling companies.
Yeah, out of 100.
Out of 100, and that's including a lot of the big companies. So that's a huge win for us. Like, I'm not one to brag about it, but I'm very, very proud and humbled by that we are there. So that shows that the hard work we're putting in, and not just me and Anthony Cole, the talent, they're pushing.
Oh, sure. And that's not a morale boost. That's just a huge accomplishment, by the way.
It is. So to show that like people, are invested in our product and they're, they want to see it. Like 30, like I don't have the list, but I was told we beat out some pretty prominently named companies. So
no. I mean, I read the whole list. I don't have it on me either, but when I kind of saw, and I was reading it not knowing where everyone was.
Yeah,
it was something that was out, and I was like, oh, okay, because I try to stay as current as possible. And I'm like, oh wow, oh, this company's here. I was like, whoa, and that's a boost for everybody across the board. My voice is on it. So
I was just gonna say, if we're firing on all cylinders, especially Bob, like you and when it starts from Shane Fair in the ring, he's one of my top favorite ring announcers on the game.
Love Shane.
You and Putty has been, from a guy who was just hosting a podcast to now being thrown into the deep end,
and is now your favorite over me. Yes.
Well, I mean, he's big. I don't want to anger him, but
yes, many photos with him.
He comes out more with me. You don't come out. I try to get you out, and
I'm normal now. I work in the mornings. Before, when I worked nights, I'd be like, I'm on my way. Absolutely. Now I'm in bed at 9:30.
But no, you guys have been killing it on commentary. One of my favorite duos. And when I get to join you guys, it's hysterical. And the talent from up and down. Again, we have from Journey Burke to Emily J to Jay Bougie. Face has stepped it up. Intern Jerry has surprisingly been a breakout. To our veterans and Mike Law, Anthony Gangone, Darius Carter, Christina Marie, who's been here longer than a lot of people imagine or think of. Vicious Vicky, from top to I'm incredibly proud of the roster that we have right now, and I think that's what makes BCW unique. And I mentioned this before, but like ECW, huge influence on me, and every match on a card had a reason for being there, or just even like one like talent, it was to push another talent. They weren't just matches to get thrown out there just for the sake of having a match. So that's what I've been trying to build with BCW, and I think we are really at that point now where every match on this card has some sort of meaning.
Speaking of which, it's a magnificent blend of talent, and that's exactly what tomorrow is going to be. Of course, this is the governor, AJ Pan, your guiding light, my fading flashlight, talking to you about BCW. Welcome to the new year, 2024. There's a little Brian F. official poster for you. That's Saturday, January the 20th, tomorrow night, 106 Bergen Avenue, from the Mecca, Ridgefield Park. Doors at 4, bells at 5. And, it's an eclectic card. Earlier in the program, we had Theo Ivkry. He's going to be in singles action against Just Saying. Your thoughts on that, AJ?
It's one of those Theo Ivkry. He's been really trying to get on his stride here in BCW. He's another one. He's one of those newer talents that's really been trying to make a mark. The faithful have not really. He's mouthed off to the faithful, and he's one that's really, maybe this might be his time, but just saying, another kid I've had an eye on, and he's been, trying to knock on our door. This opportunity arose, and I'm excited to see him debut in BCW. I've seen a lot of his stuff. Great up-and-coming talent. So, again, this just shows Theo. He's been around BCW for almost a year now, and just saying making his debut. So we're putting that together, and you're going to see a fun clash of styles in that match.
Speaking of which, we're talking about two very, very popular rookies. Of course, it's Journey Burke with AJ Pan at her side, taking on Tiffany Avatar. The governor will be at ringside, and this is a Queen of the North qualifier.
It is. Queen of the North has been it's honestly one of my favorite events that BCW has. In the beginning, even when I didn't have as much of a say in the booking, that event was usually left to myself and my old booking partner. And as it progressed, that became my baby, to see, the incredible female talent that we could bring in, and who either we could showcase, who could start to move up the ladder. And we've had such an array of talent, from Chris Statlander, from Riley Shepard, Brandy Lauren. So many great names have passed, and even not competed in the tournament, but we've had, Sue Young, Kimberly. There's been so many on that event. So to be included, I think it's a great, I don't want to say a stepping stone, but it's a great, progression for these talented young women. And, first year we're having actual qualifiers, and Journey has earned her slot. She's been working hard since last year. Last year, she competed in a three-way in the Queen of the North with Shelby Waters and Christina Marie. She didn't come out of top, but again, to see her growth from that time last year to now is leaps and bounds. I see the confidence in her that's grown. In the ring, she's more crisp. And Tiffany Avatar, I've been watching her for the past, 6-7 months or so. And yeah, she's a great talent. She's spunky. The crowd loves her. She's been dying to get into BCW as well, so this is a great opportunity for her. I hate to say, I don't think it's going to be a successful debut. Hopefully she makes, just makes a wave, but going for the law of attraction, of course, my girl, Journey Burke Esquire.
Not to mention anything to get you on a flyer. Now, let's talk about another Queen of the North qualifier. We're talking about Emily J. Oh, there goes AJ Pan.
Look at that pretty face.
Taking on All Natural Ashley. And All Natural Ashley, despite getting downed by Vicious Vicky, still held her own. So she's got a big chip on her shoulder. And let's talk about it. Emily J chose a horrible direction in life, in wrestling.
She got her first win in BCW with me, so I don't think that's a really bad decision.
But it was illegal. It wasn't,
No, it was made in the USA.
No, the match could have gone either way. And because of you and, just your whole deal. And then all of a sudden she chooses. And
I can't help Gabby was distracted by me. I am a sexy
Oh,
beast.
is that what we're going with, pal?
Yeah, she was blinded by the beauty, said.
Blinded by the beauty.
Yes.
I cannot make a comment about that, because even that's an impressive lie. And you tell several. Speaking of maybe not lies, but proclamations, let's talk about Colossal Mike Law and the bars that he was throwing out there at the last BCW show, which brings us to here when he takes on my man, Daniel Alexander, in singles competition, saying this isn't just a singles match for Mike Law, it's a singles match for his generation of wrestling.
And I love Mike to death, one of my best friends since I broke into the business, but he's one of those that I think he's entitled, and he wants favoritism, which I'm not in the business to give. When I was on the sidelines, he wasn't really bringing me anywhere with him. So BCW is not my baby, but I've been looking after it. My bottom line is to make BCW succeed. And if Mike Law isn't performing where he needs to be, then, tough luck, guy.
Are you saying that Mike Law is expendable to you?
I gave him the opportunity. He faced Anthony Gango in the main event of Summer on Smash, a tribute to Mama Pan, the most important person in my life, and he knew she was like a second mother to him. That should have put him over the edge, and he couldn't get it done.
He couldn't get it done there. That he mentioned. Yeah, that's true.
So speaking of getting it done there, what do you want from me? What you want a match with Darius Carter after you lost to Gango? No, work yourself. Do what I've asked you to do, and he can't do it. He has a chip on his shoulder, which, I respect Daniel Alexander. I've said it, I don't like him, but if he can outdo Mike Law, Daniel Alexander deserves the opportunity.
Is there a reason? You're raising your voice, AJ?
Because I feel, and you've seen, Mike Law has been very agitated with me, and he's been raising his voice to me, and it's sad because, again, I consider one of my best friends, but you have to take into account, the stress I'm under in BCW, where I'm not going to just hand you an opportunity when I don't feel it's deserved. I've given you the chances, and you had a great one. You could have been the Grand Dragon champion. You didn't do it. So where do you expect to go after that? Do you want a main event against Darius? Do you want, I don't know, you want another rematch? Like, what are you expecting from me? Go out there, earn it, do what I ask you to do, and you'll be rewarded. But throwing around your weight, it's not, and, getting in my face is not going to do you any favors.
Well, I can tell that you're personally invested in the contest the same way that obviously Mike Law is, and we're going to see who the true victor is tomorrow. But speaking of true victor, an impromptu feud that I'm very, very invested in. We're talking about another Queen of the North qualifier. We are talking about Harleen Lopez taking on Nevaeh Chantel. Very, very interesting as Nevaeh finally gets her first win in BCW to ultimately be bested by Harleen. It's almost as if these two are destined to be together for a little while longer.
This is the rubber match between them. Nevaeh finally came out on top again, against The Vibe, surprise matchup when her opponent, got stuck in their travel issues that day. And then she beat Harleen in her first match, but Harleen impressed not only us in management, but the faithful as soon as she came out her debut, which it's rare we see the crowd connect that quickly to somebody, and they did with Harleen. And Nevaeh just breezed through that victory. So we kind of, Harleen wanted a rematch. We wanted to see it. Harleen came out the next time. So I think what a better way to settle this with a Queen of North qualifier. The best person will win, and they'll get an opportunity.
They're two of the most natural fits in BCW that I've seen in some time. They both certainly belong, win, lose, or draw. But tomorrow it's all about wins because we're talking Queen of the North. And of course, let me get a little closer. Let me put the severity on this. In your main event, we are talking tag team action. We're talking a battle of generations. The Grand Dragon champion, Anthony Gangone, teams up with his fellow Crusade compadre, the All-Father, the BCW heavyweight champion, taking on Jay Bougie and Face. It is welcome to the new year 2024. Mr. Pan, while you will not be at ringside, I know for a fact that mentally you are invested in this one.
I mean, this is huge. This is a match that I did not expect. Everything broke down at the end of Nightmare at the Mecca. Anthony Cole made this match. It was just all over the place. Darius Carter obviously does not want to be involved in this, and Face got him involved. You don't step up to Darius Carter. I give it a Face. He has no. He does not give a damn. He doesn't care if you're Ben Rutten or Darius Carter. You don't get in his face. And Jay Bougie, I don't want to say he's looked at Darius as a mentor per se, but he appreciates the way that Darius has had his career, and you see a lot of mutual respect between them until this happened. And we can't not talk about the elephant in the room, the Crusade for Change. No matter what they say, if Darius does not want to be a team with him, Gangone is a different Gangone than it was back then, but they have a natural chemistry. Their careers line up no matter where they go, and it's that time for that to happen finally here in BCW. I don't know.
It's interesting you say that. Legitimately, during my time with Jay Bougie, those are the exact notes that I hit.
Really?
Yeah, and then you keep in mind, like, there's a continuity with Gangone and Carter that Bougie and Face do not have.
No. Well, me and you know this firsthand because when we called matches together years ago, I mean, that was I don't know about you, but that was my first real experience seeing Anthony Gangone and Darius Carter, and it was in the Crusade along with them with TJ. And, immediately, Gangone was starting to come up. Darius was Darius, but I saw him like, ooh, this Gangone, he has something that I don't know. He doesn't know what it is yet, but he's finding himself. And Darius was always on fire. And now they're, just to see that progression and to see 5-6 years ago where they were. And just even then, these guys are friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
And now they're at the top of their game. So to see the top of the pillars against now these young up and comers, I mean, that show, I mean, even though we've only been around, 7.5, 8 years, it's like the past of BCW meeting the future of BCW. And the winners, and I hate it's an old cliche, but the winners are going to be the BCW faithful because you're in for a hell of a match. As soon as we announced it, I was shocked at the amount of fanfare it got. Everybody was going crazy for this match. So, like, okay, let's
like
hope.
I mentioned to Jay Bougie, if it happens for 10 seconds or 10 minutes tomorrow, for the first time, finally, this goes back to this past summer. First time ever, at some point, we're going to have Jay Bougie and Darius Carter in the same ring.
Yes. I'm excited for that. I mean, those are two guys who are on a slow parallel to each other. It's you could see the influence, and just like even when we saw them at the end of Nightmare of the Mecca, just to see Bougie in the face of Darius trying to tell him to hold off, like that was really very just a cool moment to see that, and to see Face like this was a moment for him. I don't want to speak for him, but from what I've seen, this is the biggest person he's been in the ring with name wise, and he held his own.
I mean, Face has been winning more and more championships, but this is, first main event situation for Face and Bougie.
And no disrespect to anybody else Face has wrestled, but Darius Carter operates on another level. And you can hang with Darius Carter. Yeah,
he's going to test them both. He's going to ask them both if you really want to go through this. It is a match that I genuinely cannot wait to call, because it's going to be the thrill ride that I imagine it to be, knowing all those guys. And then Carter's going to walk by the table, win or lose. He's going to look at me. We can drink now.
That's usually the best parts of the show, decompressing with Mr. Carter afterwards.
I really, even though social media wise I've been jaded by you and segregated and cut off and not acknowledged and just not recognized or appreciated or cared for, I just want to tell you that seeing your growth from 2021 to now in the wrestling business, specifically in the BCW congregation, has been wonderful for me as a friend, and I'm really excited for what's going to be executed by you and Mr. Cole tomorrow. And I'm just proud to be there, because certainly you're not going to take any pictures with me. So tomorrow we are talking about welcome to the new year 2024, Saturday, January the 20th, hailing from 106 Bergen Avenue, the Mecca, the Phil Sheridan Building in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. It is BCW's first calendar event of 2024 with a loaded card. And ladies and gentlemen, you have just heard a few different words from the governor, your guiding light, the pan behind the pencil at BCW. Ladies and gentlemen, that is AJ Pan. Any final words here?
It's going to be a great 2024. We're kicking it off tomorrow night at the Mecca, the Phil Dunphy. It's going to be a great night of action. Come on down. Excited to see it. Great talent from that main event we just talked about, to Christina Marie versus Brittany Blake that we get a chance to talk about. Daniel and Mike Law, Queen of the North qualifiers. Vicious Vicky defending her championship against Ultraviolet. It's just from top to bottom. It's a stacked card. You're going to see the future of independent wrestling against the established talents of independent pro wrestling. And a lot of who you'll probably see on your television screens within the next year or two. That's how confident I am in our roster. I hope you'll come down and you'll appreciate our show. It's going to be an exciting event, an exciting year for BCW. We have a lot to come. Again, thank you to all the BCW faithful. Thank you to everybody, top to bottom. I've told them before, but from Shane Fairs to you, Cheyenne and Putty. I was going to shout you out the last show, and you weren't at ringside. You were at Bobo's, and you didn't bring me a cheesesteak. Putty was there. Like, where the hell is Cheyenne?
I know. I'm there.
So, but I was, one of our final event. I wanted, but yeah, thank you. You've been killing it in the past 2.5 years. You've been with us, and you add a different aspect to the company that which also helps, propel us.
Thank you.
So from you to Darius to our referees, everybody, thank you all, and I thank you all, most the faithful. Come and check us out. Keep following us. I'm excited to see you all tomorrow. Let's have a kick-ass 2024, and let's fucking do it right.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The following contest has been scheduled. The following conversation has been scheduled for one fall. That is AJ Pan, the governor. Stupid with 2 O's, clown shoes himself. You got to be there. BCW. This has been the voice, Cheyenne Ortiz.